All right. As I was saying yesterday, I want to tell you guys about my van life plan. So, just setting the context here. It's a Friday morning. I just woke up. Um, Ben and I Ben came up with it. He's very good at coming up with hilarious turns of phrases. He actually, with my cut video, when I was like, "Holy dick," that is a Ben-ism. And another Ben-ism that we say on Fridays is SYD, which stands for Shake Your Dick. It's Friday. It's kind of an alternate to TGIF, I suppose, but it is a pure exaltation of joy that it is finally Friday. So, SYD, y'all, it's Friday. And I am excited to tell you about my time in the Hoh Rainforest earlier this week, as well as upcoming plans and dreams for my van life era. So, as you guys know, I live in the Pacific Northwest. I live in Seattle, and the Pacific Northwest has some of the most amazing deep nature I've ever seen. Hi. I mean, obviously, there's many beautiful places in the world and in this country, in the US. And I really think that the Pacific Northwest has some of the most majestic, beautiful nature. And that's something that I've been living here about 5 years. I would say the first couple years that I was here, I was, meeting people, setting up my life, beginning my relationship with Ben, growing my business, all the above. And I didn't really like get out of the city all that much until lockdown happened and there wasn't much else to do. That's also around the time I got my beloved convertible. And I started to explore the nature a bit more and particularly fell in love with the very enchanting forests of the Pacific Northwest. So that love, that journey has continued over the past few years, and it's deepening. It is deepening and growing, and we're getting more into it. And I feel like that is definitely something that happens to a lot of people when they move to the Pacific Northwest or Seattle, is that you kind of just inevitably, by osmosis, become outdoorsy. And I would say that title's an interesting one because I was talking to a friend a while back when I was spending a lot of time in Bellingham, which is like about an hour and a half north of Seattle, and it's just absolutely beautiful nature, like old growth forests right on the water, and the mountains close to Mount Baker. So I was spending a lot of time up there because Ben was living there for a bit. So I was kind of there part-time, and one of my friends up there, she's like, "Oh, are you outdoorsy?" And I was like, I mean, I guess kinda, because I love the outdoors. I love going hiking. I love being in nature, but I don't know that I have like that many outdoorsy skills or, backpacking skills. And she's like, "Hey, you like to be outdoors, you're outdoorsy. The barrier to entry is not that high." So I like that. I was like, hell yeah, fuck yeah, I'm outdoorsy. It was a nice little permission slip. So I bequeath that permission slip she gave me onto you and to anyone listening who feels the same. It's like, hey, barrier to entry is not that high. You're outdoorsy if you want to be. you're outdoorsy if you like enjoy spending time in nature. And I did go camping a fair amount growing up, especially I went to a Waldorf school. We did like a few camping trips with my class every year. And I also went to a Quaker sleepaway camp, Shiloh Quaker Camp. Shout out to Shiloh Quaker Camp in the Shenandoah Mountains of Virginia. So I actually did a lot of backpacking there. And then my dad was boated, was an Eagle Scout, was a sailor. So I did a lot of outdoorsy stuff with my dad as well. And for those of you guys who don't know, my dad actually passed away about 6 months ago, pretty unexpectedly. So I feel that, and he grew up in Seattle. He was an Eagle Scout out here and like lived on a boat, lived on a houseboat, lived also like actually in Bellingham, lived on a beach on a like boat that he was fixing up. He was just kind of a minimalist, outdoorsy guy. So that has been, you know, continuing to live here and just like the environment that he loved and grew up in, and like took all these boating trips around Deception Pass, which is a beautiful place close to Woodby, or kind of like the gateway to Woodby Island, if you know the area. It's been a really nice thing for me to lean into to kind of feel close to my dad since he's passed. So I actually like have been taking a lot of his camping gear, and I will be getting his Honda CRV, which is in Maryland right now, where I grew up, where my mom lives and my sister lives in the DC area. But in August, my mom and I are going to drive my dad's SUV across the country, and then I'm going to have it in Seattle. And it's a perfect outdoorsy car because it actually already smells like dog. It's where he would do all his boating trips and take all the dogs everywhere. So it already has a roof rack. It has a lot of space. Right now, like my car is vintage Audi convertible, which I love. I love my car, which is pretty good for outdoorsy stuff because it is actually all-wheel drive. But I'm really excited I've been very inspired by, you know, the resurge in the van life phenomenon, which obviously is something that's been happening for some time. It's not exactly new, but maybe it's more trendy in part because, you know, I guess a lot of millennials are like, fuck it, let's like live in my van and, you know, interest rates, all the thing. I don't need to get into that right now. But anyway, I will be bringing my dad's SUV out to Seattle in August. And it's big enough that I will be able to like outfit the car and sleep in it. And that's gonna I'm so excited about it. It's gonna bring so much freedom and opportunity for me to get out in deep nature and enjoy and explore. And I have fantasies also of getting an electric bike. Just at the few times that I've ridden an electric bike, it's so fucking fun. So I want more. Hi Jesse. That's cool. Your name is Jesse James. So anyway, I have been kind of like, that's been the main subject of my daydreaming as of late. Is like all the adventures I want to go on in my van life, and just also feeling excited about having that spontaneity and that option to, car camp at will. And like, that's definitely within my skill level in terms of outdoorsy stuff. I don't like, I have backpacked, I would like to again, but that's something that like would be probably better suited for me to go with people who know what they're doing, which thankfully I have some good friends. Shout out also to Derek. Shout out to Derek, who hopefully I can go backpacking with. Um, but I also will feel, more safe to like go out, whether by myself or with friends, and be able to like sleep in my car, lock the car, etc. Um, so I got really a surge of looking forward to this past week because a really good friend of mine from high school slash elementary school, we've known each other since second grade, was out on a trip on the Olympic Peninsula in Washington, which is where all like the twilight is set and everything. So we spent a couple days camping in the Hoh Rainforest, which is amazing, like super lush, mossy, just like pinnacle peak, majestic, enchanting Pacific Northwest forest. So we had a number of really cool animal encounters, including we saw like so many elk just grazing around. We were just chilling next to these elk. And then after we were, oohing and ahhing about the elk, we got back to our campsite, and my friend Galit was like, there's an elk at our campsite. And we were like, ah! And then she's like, it's a baby elk. So it was really, really magical. There was just like a baby elk hanging out with us at our campsite. We named her Evie, or Galit named her Evie, and it was amazing. So that just got me so stoked. It was also just so peaceful to be out, kind of like off my phone, out of service, in the forest. It's just it feels so nourishing. I was describing to my friends like the way I feel in the forest, particularly around here, is just like, that's what it feels like for my spirit, just like so nourishing and like restorative. So got me stoked of what's to come, and just like feeling really excited about taking advantage of like the natural beauty, and now having something that's going to give me the option to pretty spontaneously explore that and bring friends and like, develop my outdoorsiness even more. And I want to get like, get a nice mattress, get it outfitted in there, get some like twinkle lights, get it decked out. But even just like thinking of exploring around the American West, I mean, it doesn't just have to be the West. I'm on the West Coast, so that's going to be more accessible to me, but it's going to make it super easy. I have some really good friends who live in Boulder, Colorado, so it's going to make it really easy to just drive out and hang out with them and like explore the dunes around there and go hiking. And I really want to go to Teton. So I'm stoked about that. It's a new like frontier for me. It's kind of like a new hobby. I guess nature isn't, or like going hiking and stuff isn't a new hobby, but going camping or like having a situation where I can pretty freely do that and feel comfortable and safe, by myself or with a friend or two, I'm really looking forward to it. So expect that coming soon, or coming in August. I'm gonna be taking y'all around with me. Maybe we'll be doing some mutter and putter where I have service from my van life adventures. I'm gonna get an annual pass to the national parks, and there's so many national parks I haven't been to. There's just so much to explore. So I want to go to Yosemite, Mount Shasta. I'm totally open to recommendations as well, but I basically just want to, like, you know, get out there, get after it, and, you know, start ideally with seeing more of Washington and the Pacific Northwest, and hopefully exploring around like Moab, Colorado, Utah. I mean, Moab's in Utah. But anyway, a new frontier. That is exciting to me. So I'm curious if any of you guys are into like go car camping, or like what your relationship with that is. And if that is something you're excited to see from me. Because I will definitely share my learning curve and like my whole experience with you guys, and hopefully a lot of like deep nature that's truly beautiful. Sometimes I gotta like pause for a second to focus on my makeup. So anyway, we enter a new era together. Van life era. Nature girl era. Outdoorsy. More outdoorsy era. And it just feels so wholesome and healthy and correct for this juncture of my life. And as I was saying, like, it's a really nice way, kind of leaning into more of that, and like using a lot of my dad's equipment and stuff. Like it's a really nice way for me to feel close to my dad, which I already do, I feel, and I can kind of talk about that in another live of like how, you know, I continue to feel very close to my dad even as he has crossed to the other side. And that I feel like different parts of me are emerging that remind me of him, that I want to lean into. And this is one of them. Gotta keep the legacy going for the Eagle Scout, for the PNW boy. And if you guys don't know, PNW is Pacific Northwest. I'm designing a bunch of like sweatshirts and merch. And one of them is gonna be a sweatshirt that says PNW Princess. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, thanks for listening. You can expect more van life content coming in the coming months. And if you have any recommendations of like amazing places in nature, especially in the American West, for us to explore together, I am all ears and eyes. Oops, got a floof. So let's go. Let's get after it, and I will see you soon.